Hello, dear visitor, and thank you for being interested in my work. I am a technology ethicist from Germany, and when I saw this year's Summer Research Institute's theme, Othering, Belonging, and Becoming, it immediately resonated because I realized that these play a central role in my work. Let me show you how. On the top part of my poster, you see this scheme that I show just to draw your attention to all the people that have to do with technology, the developers, the disseminators, regulators, but of course also the consumers. So now in my work, in my field, we usually focus on the developer side. Technology ethics is a producer's ethics. What makes technology good? How can we tackle negative impacts? What is ethics by design in technology? That's usually the case, I believe, because we don't dare with our traditional Western approaches to ethics to question consumers' freedom of choice. So when they make consumption choices, we believe they are rational choices. There's not much to judge. Yet, I think many choices are very questionable, and a Buddhist-inspired technology ethics would allow me to make technology ethics consumers' ethics. Why is that? Because Buddhism would question that all decisions are right decisions. With this idea of dukkha, and when someone is afflicted by dukkha, then decisions are not sustainable or wholesome or for the good of the quality of life. So we always have to ask ourselves, and the same applies, of course, to the developer side too. Are decisions or choices afflicted by dukkha, or on the contrary, by a compassionate mind? And this is better to understand when we look at these othering, belonging, and becoming theme. So othering, and I don't want to go all into detail here, you can read that on my poster, but in principle, othering, when it's afflicted by dukkha, would mean that I compare myself to others. There is a competition. I might even want to exploit someone else's dukkha. So this is, of course, apparent in technology development. Yeah, we want to develop something maybe that sells best, but not what is the best for the people. Whereas when othering is based on a compassionate mind, then we have empathy, tolerance. We want to reduce other people's dukkha. Then the technology developers approach would be a very different one. We can say the same about consuming technology, of course, that in technology-enabled othering driven by dukkha would maybe lead to a desocialization or a disconnection from the world, whereas compassion-driven othering would endorse a kind of global knowledge and understanding, tolerance, and outreach. So for belonging, of course, dukkha-driven belonging would mean an attachment to a defense of a local identity and intolerance, whereas a compassion-driven one would support community, sharing, and working towards shared goals. This is especially apparent in consuming technology, again, where dukkha leads to a kind of self-identification via technology, maybe faking an online self, whereas compassion-driven belonging would lead to certain communities through technology use and cooperation. In terms of becoming, dukkha means dependent co-arising, a constant reinforcement of self. So someone afflicted by that in terms of technology development would be driven by maybe the reward, like fame or success or money. In terms of consuming technology, there would be a purchase goal like a status, a reputation, or material satisfaction. Whereas when this becoming is driven by compassion, then the developer would, of course, try to unleash potentials to lead to sustainable development with global justice and global peace. And the consumer of technology would identify how does technology really increase quality time. For example, a prosthesis that leads to better mobility or communication and a connection to other people. So we see here that Buddhist-inspired technology can greatly change the way we discuss technological impact on society and environment. And if you have more questions, then feel free to contact me by email or in the forum or during the event. And I'm always happy to get into a conversation. Thank you very much.